Hi everyone, and welcome to a TBR, hopeful TBR video for a readathon. This readathon is hosted by the channel Books and Bops. I will list the channel in the description box, as well as the announcement video for this. Now I'm going to pull this up. There is a Discord, and in order to be involved in this particular readathon, you need to be on Discord, because that's where the activity and how you'll log points and all of that. So, okay. So this readathon is called Killers versus Final Girls. So what's going to happen is you're going to log in. There's a link through the announcement video to get access to the Discord. On the Discord, there's a sign-up page. Once you sign up, shortly after you sign up, you will either be sorted onto Team Killers or Team Final Girls. I was sorted onto the team I wanted. I wanted to be on this team, and I'm so happy that I have been sorted to this team. I was sorted to Team Killers. So I am a part of Team Killers. I'm very happy. Now, there are 13 prompts. So let me tell you, it says, welcome to the Killer versus Final Girl readathon, and you'll have access to this. You'll have access to this PDF once you sign up for this. So it says the premise is simple. You are either placed on the Killer or Final Girl team. During the readathon, you will read to acquire points for your team. This readathon runs from September 2nd to September 29th. On September 29th, you will find out which team has won. The other team will be killed. So either Killers will end up being killed, or the Killers will kill the Final Girls. So will the Killers strike again, or will this be a win for our infamous girls? So I have the wrong date on here. I have it written this the 28th, but it's actually the 29th, this last day. Okay. Rule book, you have to log in through Discord. You can always ask for help. He does say in the video how, like, you can contact and you can go to YouTube and search how to sign up for Discord. It is free and all of that. So, and each prompt has some points. Now you can use one prompt. For example, right now I'm reading the Vampire Lestat. So let's say one of the prompts is to read a vampire book or a book with a monster, and then another prompt would be to read something with blood on the cover. Well, there's a little blood falling down the E. You can't really see it, but there is blood. So let's say there's two prompts this could work for. This can only work for one prompt. Now, let's say I read this for a book that contains a monster, but then I have another book that also contains a monster that I want to read. I can use both of those for that prompt. So I can use that prompt multiple times. So if I read 10 books that all contain monsters and I want to use them all for the contains monster prompt, I can do that. You just can't use more than one prompt per book. So I hope that makes sense. It's listed in the rule book. It says one prompt per book, but you can read multiple books per prompt. So, and then I'll obviously just be courteous and all of that, your usual Discord stuff. So let's go ahead and get in. Now, there are two prompts that I could not get a book for, and I will explain that when I get to those two, and they're both for the same reason. Okay, so prompt number one, and this is all Killers. The prompts for the Final Girls are different, okay? So I think there are some crossovers. I don't know, but where I'm on Team Killers, I'm completely ignoring the prompts for Team Final Girls. So I'm only focusing on the prompts for Team Killers. So prompt number one is a book that has a killer or a villain's POV. This is worth 10 points. For this one, I'm going to go with The Queen of the Damned by Anne Rice. This is book number 3 in the Vampire Chronicles. Vampires tend to be villains, and it has been no exception so far in these first two books, which was the Vampire Chronicles and the one I just held up, which is the Vampire Lestat. So this is book number 3. I just got this one. Has not been in my book haul video yet, so spoiler for this book, but it is in there. It says, in this extraordinary sensual novel of the complex, erotic, electrifying world of the undead, Anne Rice unleashes Akasha, the Queen of the Damned. So the Queen Vampire villain, okay? who has risen from a 6,000-year sleep to let loose the powers of the night. Akasha has a marvelously devious plan to save mankind and destroy the vampire Lestat. So anyway, vampires, I'm assuming she's a villain. Vampires tend to always be the villain, except for in Twilight, but that was the exception rather than the rule. So Twilight, you have like, what is that, like 5 or 6 vampires that are good because they're vegan, they don't eat humans, but everyone else does, so they are more villainous. So I'm going with vampires being a villain. Vampires are killers because they eat humans, so, and it's from the perspective of the queen of the vampires, so the queen killer. I say it matches, so I am going to slot in Queen of the Damned for this prompt. Now, moving on, prompt number 2 takes place in a spooky location. For this one, I'm going with, here we go. The Night Will Find Us, written by Matthew Lyons. Now this is a library book. This is on my September TBR. So I was able to get some books from my September Catwalk TBR on this. There's like 2 or 3 books that were not on my September Catwalk TBR that are on this. If I can get to them, great. If not, it's no big deal. So The Night Will Find Us. This is a horror book. And school's out for summer. Well-deserved camping vacation. There's the library sticker, so I can't tell you kind of what some of this says. Something erupts, an argument escalates into the unthinkable, leaving one of them, so one of this group of friends, dead and the killer missing. A darkness descends, and those left alive try to determine a course of action. The forest around them begins to change. So, okay, forest. This takes place in a forest. And it says the night will find us, so what makes a forest more spooky is at night. So for me, this would definitely be a spooky setting. So yeah. In the morning, one of the group has vanished, and the path that led them into the woods is gone, as if consumed by the forest itself. Lost and hungry, the remaining friends set out to find help, only to realize that the forest seems to have other plans. So it's like the forest is alive. It's a haunted forest. It seems to be alive. Definite spooky location. Definite spooky location. A darker ancient horror lies dead and dreaming in a lake in the center of the woods, and it's calling to them. Meanwhile, deep in the trees, the killer is still at large, and one of the group's own has started to transform and warp into something other, something inhuman, something that wants to feast. Banding together to survive, the friends soon begin to understand the true nature of the horror waiting for them in the Pine Barrens, and that none of them will make it out alive. Oh, and not all of them will make it out alive. I read that wrong. So, the night will come for us. Haunted, spooky forest wood setting. I do count that. I think that can be just as creepy, if not even more creepy, than a cemetery setting. So, definite counts. Okay. So, prompt number 3 is a book that has supernatural elements. Oh, and the one that takes place in a spooky location is worth 10 points. This one has supernatural elements as 5 points because it's a little bit easier. A lot of books can have supernatural elements. I'm going to go with a middle grade, and that is Deep and Dark and Dangerous, written by Mary Downing Hahn. Every book, I have not read every book by Mary Downing Hahn, but every book that I have read by her, which is only like 3 or 4, have had paranormal, ghostly elements. And this one feels like it's not going to be any different. So it says, summer at the lake house with wonderful Aunt Dulcie and little Emma. Allie can't wait. Her mother, Claire, Dulcie's sister, says the lake is dangerous and refuses to let Allie go. But Allie prevails and takes off for an idyllic vacation. Except it isn't. A spiteful girl named Sissy spoils everything. She's bratty and hostile, and Emma imitates her. Sissy won't stop, talking about something that happened years ago, when Dulcie and Claire were Al's age, a drowning under mysterious circumstances. Allie thinks Sissy is trying to scare her with a ghost story, but secrets from the past rise relentlessly to surface as Allie struggles to keep Sissy from destroying the people she loves. There's always been paranormal, supernatural elements in the books written by Mary Downing Hahn. Again, I have not read all of them, but all of the ones I have read have had those. And in fact, let me look and see if there's like a paranormal tag. Deep, Dark, Oh, deep and dark and dangerous. Here we go. Mary Downing Hahn. It does say paranormal and ghosts and ghost story. So it does, because it has this as a horror, mystery, middle grade, paranormal, and ghosts. So it definitely has the supernatural, or will have the supernatural elements. Okay. Prompt number 4 is starts with any of the letters in the word September. So September, September. This one is worth 5 points. For this one, I'm going with the letter T as in Tom, or in this case, T as in 13 stories. So it starts with the letter T. So definitely counts for this. This is written by Jonathan Sims. It says, a dinner party is held in the penthouse of a multi-million-pound development. All the guests are strangers, even to their host, the billionaire owner of the building. None of them know why they were selected to receive his invitation. Whether privileged or deprived, they share only one thing in common. They've all experienced a shocking disturbance within the building's walls. By the end of the night, their host is dead, and none of the guests will say what happened. His death remains one of the biggest unsolved mysteries until now. But are you ready for their stories? So, yeah. So that will definitely work for that. Okay. Moving on, prompt number 5 is a book that has a weapon on the cover. This is worth 10 points. This is one I had to add because none of the books on my September TBR have a weapon on the cover. So I have really been wanting to get this author's writing again. And this is book number 2 in a trilogy. And this is A Time of Blood, written by John Gwynne. As you can see, there's a big old knife there. At least I'm assuming it's a knife. Could be a sword. I don't know. But it is some kind of weapon. And plus there are people in the background that have bows and arrows. So I'm definitely covered on this one. This is book number 2 in Of Blood and Bone. Drem and his friends are haunted by the horrors they witnessed. Screams of men. Demon rising from the dead. They are being hunted. I'm trying to give you very little because this is the second book in the series. The first one is called A Time of Dread. This one is A Time of Blood. Let's see. Demonic forces multiply. Heroes of old. Warriors battle. Think Viking. Yes, and this does tend to get where it is very much a war type book. Viking. There's a lot of bloodshed, so it does tend to get very gory. So do be aware of that. But weapon on the cover, and I really want to get back into John Gwynne's writing. So I absolutely love that. So I'm excited for that one. Hopefully I'll get to that one. Okay. Prompt number 6. This is a book you are reading for the plot twist or for the potential plot twist. So it's hard to tell. I mean, generally with horror, thrillers, mysteries, there's going to be some sort of a plot twist. I don't remember what genre this one is. Oop. Let me look this up. Now this is part of a series. This is a mystery, so this will have a twist in it. It's Amish, romantic suspense, Amish fiction, Christian fiction, romantic suspense, but it does mystery. So Amish is the first tag, second tag is mystery. So mystery will have a twist. And the one I selected for that is Fall from Pride, written by Karen Harper. This is the start of a series. Home Valley, I think is the name of the series. This one says, Sarah Kaufman sought permission from her church elders to paint murals on a few of the Amish community's barns. Each was designed like an old-fashioned quilt square, representing a piece of the Amish traditions Sarah loved. The works of art were intended to draw more tourists to the home valley in the struggling economy, but instead they invited a menace. That's where the plot twist is going to come in, is to try to figure out what the menace is. One by one, each barn is set ablaze and destroyed. The arson fires spread fear through the community amongst the Amish and Englishires alike. Now Sarah wonders if she's being punished for her pridefulness or whether there's a more malevolent will at work. As an outsider, arson investigator Nate McKenzie struggles to investigate the crime scenes while adhering to Amish ways. With Sarah as his guide, he warms to the plain people and their simple ways. As the fires rage, beliefs are challenged, a way of life is questioned, and family secrets are exposed. In the aftermath of the destruction of the people of Home Valley the people of Home Valley must join together to raise their barns and their hopes for the future. So this will definitely have some sort of a plot twist, especially where it's mystery. You're guaranteed there's going to be a plot twist. Whether you see it coming or not, that's a whole different story. Okay. Prompt number 7 is a book recommended by a teammate. I'm already on Discord. Today is the 16th, so I've already been sorted to Team Killers. I have put forth a recommendation. I have recommended The End of Tempered Stare by Wendy Webb. That is one of my absolute favorite paranormal books. That's really what got me reinvested into paranormal books. So I always recommend Wendy Webb's The End of Tempered Stare whenever I can. But I'm the first one under the team channel of this readathon to recommend a book. So I'm just going to keep an eye out, and I'm going to watch for those recommendations to start to come, and then I will pick a recommendation and see if I can get a copy of that book, whether by ebook or from my library or whatever the case is, if I can get a really good sale somewhere. So I will watch for those recommendations, but again, today is August 16th. I want to get this video out there and ready to go. So there are no recommendations yet, but I will keep an eye out. So obviously, when I try to do a wrap up for this, which hopefully I will, I have not been good about that, but hopefully I will for this one. I'll be able to tell you if I was able to complete that and what book I chose for that prompt. Okay, the same thing comes for this one. We're still being sorted, so there are no buddy reads set up, which prompt number 8 is to buddy read with a teammate. So there are no buddy reads set up yet. We still have the rest of the month to do that. So as soon as I see the buddy reads are starting to come together, I will see which book I want to do a buddy read with and join in and do that. So, and again, as long as I can get a copy of whatever book will be buddy read. So that is yet to be determined as well. All right, moving on to number 9. It has a 1 or a 3 in the Goodreads average. This one's worth 10 points. Oh, and both of those other ones were 5 points for the buddy read and the recommendation by the teammate. So, okay, so the average rating on Goodreads has to have a 1 in it or a 3 in it. And this one is worth 10 points. For this one, I am going with a romance. I do not want to get burned out on reading the same genre, so I'm sticking a romance in here, and this one is Witch Please by Aann Aguirre. As of today, when I have picked this book, so the 16th of August, this has a 3.4 average. So there is the 3. So Witch Please. This one says, Danica Waterhouse is a fully modern witch. After a messy breakup, Danica makes a pact with her cousin. They'll keep their hearts protected and have fun, without involving the overly opinionated and meddlesome Waterhouse matriarchs. Titus Winokur has family trouble of his own. After a tragic loss, all he's got is his sister, his bakery, sugar daddies, and a romantic curse that he's convinced has left him doomed to be alone. Until he meets Danica, the sparks are instant, their attraction irresistible. For him, she's the one. To her, he's forbidden fruit. Can a modern witch find love with an old-fashioned mundane who refuses to settle for anything less than forever? So 3.4 average as of today, which that's going to fluctuate depending on as time goes on and how many more people read and review the book or rate the book, but where it's in the 3-star range, I don't think it's going to fluctuate all that much for now. So anyway, so that's my choice for that is Witch Please. All right, 10 points for that. Prompt number 10 is a locked room mystery. Oh my heck, I had a rack in my brain. What the heck? And then all of a sudden it hit me, an escape room. Well, I do have a book that is entitled The Escape Room. Well, escape rooms are locked rooms in my opinion. So I think this counts because you're locked into the room and you have to figure out a way to escape. So yes, and this was written by Megan Goldin. I have heard not some great things. I mean, I first started, but I'm hearing more and more mixed stuff, which that's all opinion. I've read books that I've absolutely loved that a lot of people did not like, and vice versa. There are books that I did not like that a lot of people have loved and praised and was like, this is the best type of this book ever written, and I'm going, yeah, I don't see the hype on that one. So, yeah, anyway. It says, in the lucrative world of finance, Vincent, Jules, Sylvie, and Sam are at the top of their game. They've mastered the art of the deal and celebrate their success in style. But a life of extreme luxury always comes at a cost. Invited to participate in an escape room challenge as a team-building exercise, the ferociously competitive coworkers crowd into the elevator of a high-rise building, eager to prove themselves. But when the lights go off and the doors stay shut, locked, it quickly becomes clear that this is no ordinary competition. They're caught in a dangerous game of survival. Trapped in the dark, the colleagues must put aside their bitter rivalries and work together to solve cryptic clues to break free. But as the game begins to reveal the team's darkest secrets, they realize there's a price to be paid for the terrible deeds they've committed in their ruthless climb up the corporate ladder. As tempers fray and the clues turn deadly, they must solve one final chilling puzzle. Which one of them will kill in order to survive? So, the escape room. Definite, especially after reading that synopsis, this is a definite lock room type of a situation. So, yay. Okay. And that was worth 10 points. I don't remember if I said that. Anyway. Okay, prompt number 11 is a book that was published in the fall months for your country. So, I am in the United States, so fall is September, October, November. And for this one, I am going with The Paris Seamstress by Natasha Lester. I have seen some editions on Goodreads that were published in like July and in March, but at least this particular edition and a lot of the editions that I am seeing were published September 18th. And the copyright in the book just says 2018. So, but I'm going with the date that's given on Goodreads for this particular edition as well as similar ones. A lot of them say this book came out in September. So that's what I'm going with. This says a dual timeline. It says 1940. As the Germans advance on Paris, young seamstress Estella Bisset is forced to flee everything she's ever known. She's bound for New York with her signature gold dress, a few francs, and a dream to make her mark on the world of fashion. And then present day says, Fabien Bisset journeys to the Met's annual gala, for an exhibit featuring the work of her ailing grandmother, a legend in women's fashion design. But as Fabien begins to learn more about her beloved grandmother's past, she uncovers a story of tragedy, heartbreak, and family secrets that will dramatically change the course of her own life. So, The Paris Seamstress by Natasha Lester. Again, a lot of the publication dates were in September, and that's what it said for that on Goodreads. Okay, 5 points for that one. Next up is a book that has red on the cover, and for this one I'm going with Books of Blood, Volume 1 by Cleve. It's either Cleve or Clive. Cleve Barker. So that's the cover. After I read this, I may try to see if the film is still on Hulu. So, yeah. And as you can see, there is red around as like the silhouette of this person that turns into a book. So, there's definitely red on here. It says, in this tour de force collection of brilliantly disturbing tales, Clive Barker combines the extraordinary with the ordinary, bringing to life our darkest nightmares with stories that both seduce and devour. As beautiful as they are terrible, the pages of this volume are stained with unsettling imagery, macabre humor, and visceral dread. Here, then, are the stories written on the Book of Blood. Read if it please you and learn. And this is a collection of short stories. This has The Book of Blood, The Midnight Meat Train, The Yattering and Jack, Pig Blood Blues, Sex, Death, and Starshine, and In the Hills, The Cities. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 books. Or 6 stories in this. So a collection of short stories. Okay, this last prompt is to read a book that is a mystery, a thriller, or a horror. So, easy peasy. And this one's only 5 points. And for this one, I'm going with a horror, and this is a gothic horror, and this is The Girl from Raw Blood by Katarina Ward. So, this is my selection. This one says, at the turn of England's century, young Iris Villarca walks the lonely halls of Raw Blood. They are haunted by her, a curse passed down in ancient blood that marks each Villarca for certain heartbreak, even death. and Iris is the last of her family's line. And I could be saying that wrong. Valarka, I don't know how to say it, but I'm just guessing. Iris forsakes her promise to her father to remain alone, swaddled in Roblood's walls with its unspoken secrets. She dares to fall in love, and the consequences of her choice are immediate and terrifying. As her world shatters into a kaleidoscope of memory, vengeance, and terror, she must take a final journey back to Roblood, where it all began, and where it must all end. So, the girl from Roblood. Yes, so that's the horror book that I've picked for that. So that's it. Those are the books that I want to read for the Killers versus Final Girls Readathon. Let me know if you are participating. If you are participating, have you already been sorted into your team, and what team would that be? So let me know, have you read any of these books? Have you read from any of these authors? And if you are participating and you have the same prompt, even if you're on Team Final Girls, if you have a similar prompt, like book with red on the cover or something like that, what are you reading for that particular prompt? What are you excited to get to? Talk to me in the comment section below. And until next time, stay true to yourself and enjoy a good book. And I'll talk to you later.